The ballroom was electric. Weeks of emotion, drama, sweat, pressure, and stunning performances had all come down to this one final moment. The air felt thick with anticipation as the lights dimmed across the legendary stage of Dancing with the Stars. Celebrities, pros, judges, and fans held their breath in perfect silence, waiting for a name that would change lives forever. And then, with a booming voice that echoed throughout the ballroom and through millions of living rooms across the world, the words rang out. Say hello to your Dancing with the Stars Season 34 champions, Robert and Whitney. Confetti exploded like fireworks. The crowd erupted instantly. The music kicked in with full power. And right in the center of it all, Robert and Whitney stood frozen for a moment. Not out of shock, but out of overwhelming emotion. The win wasn't just a victory. It was a story, a journey, a transformation. A legacy continued. And now, as the Mirrorball Trophy glistened under the spotlights, their entire season flashed before their eyes like the final act of a movie. Robert tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat. He shook his head, took a deep breath, and then finally allowed himself to let out a laugh that was part disbelief, part relief, and part pure joy. When he was handed the microphone, he didn't shout. He didn't scream. Instead, he spoke with a clarity that cut through all the noise around him. He said softly, "I'm feeling such an overwhelming sense of gratitude." The room fell silent again. Every pair of eyes, from the judges' table to the back rows, locked onto him. Robert continued, "This experience, it has changed my life. I am so grateful I took this journey at this moment in my life. Everything I've learned here, I'll carry with me forever. And the greatest gift of all is the friendship I've built with Whitney. That's something I'll have for the rest of my life." The sincerity in his voice was unmistakable. But then, Robert shared something deeply personal. Something that instantly shifted the emotional tone of the entire room. He gestured toward a familiar face in the audience, his sister. He said, "My sister is here tonight, and I remember sitting in this very room in the same spot 10 years ago, watching her lift this trophy." The audience gasped, many unaware of this emotional connection. 10 years ago, it wasn't Robert on the stage. It was his sister making history. And now, exactly 1 decade later, Robert stood at the center of the same stage, holding the same trophy, continuing the same family legacy. It was almost poetic. To follow in her footsteps. To represent my family's legacy. "It means everything," he said, wiping away a tear. But then, he immediately turned the spotlight away from himself and placed it squarely on Whitney, who was still holding the trophy with trembling hands. He said, "But this win, this moment, it's so deserved for Whitney. She is the greatest. I've admired her so much during this entire process, and I am incredibly proud of her." The ballroom erupted again. The camera zoomed in on Whitney, whose eyes had already filled with tears. She pressed a hand to her heart, shaking her head slightly as if she couldn't believe this was happening. When the microphone moved toward Whitney, she took a moment to breathe. Her voice was soft at first, but full of emotion. "This moment means everything to me," she said, her voice trembling but steady enough to carry across the stage. And then she revealed something unexpected, something honest and vulnerable. "This season, Robert changed me. He lit a spark in me again, a fire that had dimmed for a while." The room fell silent again. People leaned forward. This wasn't just a dance competition win. This was personal healing, renewal, rediscovery. "Dancing with you has been amazing," she told Robert. "I'm your friend, and your sister, forever." These words weren't scripted, they weren't rehearsed. They were real, and you could feel that authenticity in every syllable. Then the host stepped back in, ready to deliver a twist no one saw coming. He said, "Not only are Robert and Whitney the first star siblings to win Dancing with the Stars, but today marks 11 years to the day since Whitney last won with Alfonso." The camera zoomed in on Whitney. She gasped, covering her mouth with both hands. Her eyes widened, and she burst into an emotional, overwhelmed laugh. 11 years. To the day, a full-circle moment so perfect that even the audience couldn't stop talking about it. As the cheering died down, the host shifted into a more playful tone and said, "Now that the season is over, Whitney, are you finally going to open your DMs?" The room erupted in laughter. Whitney laughed too, shaking her head dramatically. "I don't know about that," she said, still wiping tears from her face. Even Robert cracked up, bending over with laughter. It was a perfect moment of levity after the emotional roller coaster of the night. But the impact of their win wasn't just emotional, it was symbolic. Everything about their journey spoke to something deeper than competition. Robert wasn't just a contestant. He was a man stepping into a legacy, proving something to himself and honoring where he came from. He walked into the season unsure, maybe a little nervous, but full of heart. And week after week he grew, not just as a dancer, but as a person. His confidence didn't come from perfection. It came from perseverance, from falling, getting up, trying again. He didn't hide his flaws. He embraced them, shaped them, pushed through them, and by the finale, he wasn't just dancing, he was shining. And Whitney, a seasoned professional, a fan favorite, a powerhouse, rediscovered something essential: her passion, her spark, her purpose. Sometimes, even the brightest stars dim for a moment. And this season, through teaching, guiding, and building a genuine bond with Robert, she found her fire again. That's what made their victory so powerful. It wasn't just about techniques or choreography. It was about transformation, growth, connection, healing, purpose, all wrapped together in a journey that America witnessed every single week. After the final confetti fell and the lights dimmed slightly, the host gave them one last heartfelt message. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy everything. You both deserve it. And with that, Robert and Whitney lifted the golden Mirrorball Trophy together, its shimmering reflection capturing the pure essence of their journey: triumph, passion, and unforgettable partnership. As they slowly walked off the stage, hand in hand, smiling through tears, you could tell something profound had happened. They weren't just winners of Dancing with the Stars season 34, they were part of the show's history, its legacy, its heart. The crowd kept cheering their names long after they exited the stage. Even as the cameras cut to the closing credits, the celebration continued backstage, where fellow competitors and professionals embraced them, congratulating them on a season that will be remembered for years to come. Their story is now part of the legacy of Dancing with the Stars, the legacy of courage, growth, friendship, and unforgettable dance. And as the fans celebrate across social media, one thing is clear: this win touched millions. But beyond the trophy, beyond the applause, beyond the lights, the real victory was something deeper. Robert found himself, Whitney rediscovered her spark, and together they created a story that will forever shine as brightly as the Mirrorball Trophy they now share. This was not just a finale, this was destiny, a night where two hearts danced as one and became champions forever.